Hey guys, welcome to another video from Theta Trading. Omar Khan here, guys, and I'm going to go with today's topic, and we're going to talk about how do puts and calls actually work, and why I believe it's the ultimate side hustle. Okay, now before we get on today's topic, if I can ask you guys a big favor, if you guys could help us promote the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content we're creating. Shoot us a comment, see what you'd like to see in future videos, and consider subscribing to the channel if you find the information to be valuable. All right, so let's get on today's topic. How do puts and calls work? And I'll tell you exactly how it changed my life, okay? So I'm going to start off with what is a put and a call, okay? And why I think it's the ultimate side hustle. All right, take a little trip back in time, and I was in university many years ago, and the professor, and again, it doesn't matter if you went to university or college or high school, this doesn't even matter. 99.9% of people won't even know this works or exists. All right, so going back to school, I did an economics program at the University of Toronto here in Canada. Now, I learned a lot in that program, but I didn't learn how any of this stuff could actually help my life out, which is what I cared about, okay? So when the topic of puts and calls came up, and it did come up, and some people will learn about it in their lifetime, but the difference is they won't know how to actually make it work for them, how to actually use it properly. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys today, okay? So going back to my story, I learned about puts and calls many, many years ago, but the professor never said to me, hey, you know what, this is how you can use it to help build income, how to help you grow a real estate portfolio, how you can use it to create the ultimate side hustle. That was never taught. It was all academic. We had to learn about them, derivatives, puts, calls, pass the test, get a job, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what I learned is the way that I got out of my situation, which was a lot of student debt and really not a lot of hope and no financial literacy, was this strategy, which I call the ultimate side hustle. So now let's get on to what exactly a put and a call actually is. Okay, so what we do here at Theta is we sell puts, okay, cash secured puts, or you can call them naked puts, okay. Now, the difference between a cash secured put is, and what we like to do here, is simply we'll agree to buy something that we wanted to buy anyways at a discount, and we get paid for it, okay? So going back to the overall picture of what options are, there's lots of derivatives out there, okay? There's futures contracts, there's forward contracts or swaps, and I don't want to get into any of that stuff. It's not relevant to what we're doing. Then there's a section called options, and in options, there are two different types of options, puts and calls, okay? And what we do is we sell puts and we sell calls. Now, why do we do this and what does it mean to us? So I just described to you how a put works, okay? So now we put it into a real life perspective of something that I would do. All right, let's say, for example, there's a stock that I really like, and that's the first thing we do here at Theta. We always identify companies that we want to invest in. That will always be the case for us, okay? So we say to ourselves, hey, we want to invest in Microsoft, for example. Okay, great. Microsoft currently is trading at about $255 a share. Okay, so great. And we've done our homework, and we think Microsoft will be worth, let's call it, 275 a year from now. And that homework part is the part that you really have to focus on. And we'll teach you here at Theta. We'll teach you how to do the homework so that you're financially literate. Now, let's say, for example, I want to buy Microsoft. I think it'll be worth more, like I said, about 275 a year from now. It's currently at 255. Well, what I will do is I will sell a put, and I will make sure that I have the money in my account to cover the put. Now, when I'm selling a put, what am I doing? Well, what I'm doing is I'm agreeing to buy the stock, in this case Microsoft, for a set period of time at a certain price. Now, the price will be below or at the market price. And that's why I certainly don't mind. For me, this is a win-win situation. Now, I know it's a difficult concept for some people to understand who've never done this before. Microsoft's trading for $255. And I go to the market using the options market, selling a naked put, and I agree to buy Microsoft for $250. And I get paid $5 a share. So let's take a look at what will happen to me in a worst case scenario. In a worst case scenario, or let's say a pessimistic scenario, Microsoft goes below 250. Let's say it goes to $240 a share. I still have to buy it for 250. Okay. Now the reason I don't mind doing that is because I think it's going to be worth 275 a year from now. And no matter what happens, I keep the $5 a share, no matter what happens. So whether Microsoft goes up, down, sideways, or in circles, I keep the $5 a share. That's 2%, while at the same time making sure that my worst case scenario is that I own Microsoft for a cheaper price than it's currently trading for. Do you see how if you simply agree to buy these stocks that you like, these companies that you love at prices lower, that you can make a lot of money? And this is why I say it's the ultimate side hustle. You want to create a secondary income, a third income. This is a great way to create another income source, right? Imagine just going on your phone, agreeing to buy Microsoft. Now, that's not meant to be stock advice, so please don't take it as such. Whatever company it is that you like, you say to yourself, I think this company is going to be worth a lot more in the future. I'm more than happy to buy it at a lower price. And you generate this monthly income now. So if I had agreed to buy 100 shares of Microsoft there, and I'm agreeing to buy it for $250, well, I got paid $5 a share. That's $500 deposit in my account right away. And the worst thing that's going to happen to me is I own Microsoft for $250. Okay. Now this can also be done. So if you have a smaller account or you don't want to do the homework on various companies, that is totally fine. You can implement this strategy. Let's say, for example, on the entire market. Let's say, for example, the SPY. So the SPY would be the SPY, the 500 biggest US companies all rolled into one ETF or exchange traded fund. And I'm going to do a future video on this. I'm going to get a lot more practical about what we do here at Theta in terms of like, what is an ETF? Just simply explain stuff like that. How does the stock market work? All these simple things. How to create wealth. Okay, I digress. So what we're going to do is you can also do this strategy on, like I said, the SPY, the entire index. Now, the great thing with that is that you don't have to do the individual homework. You don't have to look at Microsoft. Okay, what division of their company is growing? How much are they growing by? You don't have to worry about that stuff. How much is their profit margin? Because when you agree to buy certain stocks, these are the things that you should know. Okay, because ultimately you're buying a part ownership in that company, so you should know these things. If you decide to do this, let's say on the SPY, which is the entire market, what you're betting on is the greater economy, the greater you're betting on the greater economy, the greater human ingenuity going forward, our lives getting better, companies becoming more profitable, and obviously, the markets historically, the S&P 500 has gone up about 10.9% a year for the last 50 years. So think about it. The market is going up on average 10.9% a year. And you have down markets and you have up markets, but the average has been 10.9 over the last 50 years. And you're simply agreeing to buy something, that market, for lower than it's worth. So I hope you can see how this can absolutely change your life. Okay? You're getting paid a bunch of money to buy an asset that you think is going to appreciate. Now you're thinking, well, why would someone pay a bunch of money to do this? It doesn't make any sense. That is true. Now let's say, for example, we're going to go back to that Microsoft example. Let's say, for example, I need to sell my Microsoft shares off because I need that money for a deposit on a down payment on a house. What I will do is I'll go and purchase this insurance, right? I'm going to buy a put. We're selling the put. That person's buying the put. That person's saying, no matter how low Microsoft goes, I can't afford to get less than $250 a share. And the reason for that is because I need this money for a down payment. So even if Microsoft goes to 240, 235, it doesn't matter. They're going to get $250 a share. Now, the reason we don't mind taking the other side of that trade is because the worst thing that's going to happen to us is we collect $5 a share and we get to buy Microsoft for a discount because we think it'll be worth more. So it can be a win-win situation. Someone is asking for insurance and we are the providers of that insurance. Now, I hope that blows your mind because in my opinion, that is the ultimate side hustle. You can create so much extra income. And that's what I did over the years, guys. I used this strategy to buy a lot of real estate. I kept collecting these premiums when I would agree to buy my certain stocks. And I kept collecting them. And certainly, soon enough, I had enough money for a property, then a second, third, fourth, fifth, et cetera, et cetera. And ultimately, I was able to create financial independence. And it was all from this one strategy. So let's go back to that example of Microsoft. Now, let's say we do own Microsoft here at $245 a share. And it went below what we agreed to buy for. We agreed to buy it for $250, it went down to $245. So it went from $255 down to $245 in the last month. Okay, and that happens. Okay. Well, can we do anything about that? Yes, we can. We can use the other side of the equation called calls. And this is, we also do this here at Theta. And again, this is an absolute life changing concept, in my opinion. We own Microsoft now, let's say for 240. Its current market value, excuse me, is 245. We bought it for 250, but we got paid $5 a share. So our real cost is 245, and that's what it's trading at right now. And we say to ourselves, you know what? In the next 30 days, I don't think Microsoft is going to go super high in price, and I don't mind selling my shares off for a profit. Let's say I agree to sell my shares for $260 a share in the next 30 days. Well, I can do that. That is called a covered call, and that is the second part of our strategy, where now we are agreeing to sell our Microsoft shares off at 260. So what we're doing here, and let's say we're getting paid, let's say another $5 a share. Okay, great. We're happy with that. It probably won't be as $5 a share because it's further out of the money, but I digress. Let's say we're getting paid $5 a share. Or let's say we're actually, you know what, let's say we're getting paid 350, 375 a share, which is 1.5%, which is probably what that return would be. What we're saying to ourselves is, and what we're saying to the market is, any upside beyond 260, we will forego, okay, for the next 30 days. We're going to forego this because we don't think the market's going to go super high. So we're going to forego any stock appreciation beyond $260 in the next 30 days. But we're going to be compensated $3.75 a share, which is 1.5% roughly, just to give up our upside. And that is called a covered call. So in my opinion, you agree to buy a stock that or an index ETF that you like, that you think will be worth more in the future. You use a strategy, you create a bunch of money just for agreeing to buy it at a discount. Now, if you do wind up owning it, and that happens often, okay, most often you won't wind up owning it, at least if you're writing out of the money or you're selling puts out of the money, but oftentimes you will have to own the stock. That's the great part. You don't mind owning that company because you've done your homework. And now you have the choice to write a covered call, which means simply agreeing to sell your stock for a certain price for a certain time frame. Now, every time you do that, you create income for yourself. Every single time you create income, right? It keeps adding up. And the worst case scenario is that you own, in this example, Microsoft stock. Now, tell me, guys, that isn't the ultimate side hustle. Now, the great thing is you can do this from anywhere in the world using your phone. So when I was building my portfolio and doing this, I was trading for about 30 minutes a day. So even if you have a job or a busy family life, you can squeeze in a trade or two. It's not that much work after you've done your homework anyways. Once you've identified the company that you want to own, all you're doing at that point in time is agreeing to buy it. And let's say you're doing that for 30 days. There's a very specific reason we said 30 days, by the way. If you want to learn more about that, book a call with us, see what we do here at Theta, and see if it's for you. Now, if you're going to agree to buy that stock and you're getting paid for it, which is fantastic, and you're able to do this within 30 minutes a day, like I said, squeeze that trade in, you've done your homework, now you know that for the next 30 days, either I have to buy the stock or I won't. That's it. Or if you agree to sell the stock, either the stock will go past the price you've agreed to sell for, in which case you'll lose the stock, still make good money, or you won't. So it doesn't take a lot of time, especially after you've done your homework on your companies. And if you don't want to do homework on your companies, like I said, then it takes even less time. You can do this in minutes a day and create, in my opinion, guys, the ultimate side hustle. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it makes sense to you, and I hope you understand why I believe this is the ultimate side hustle. It can absolutely change your life. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. And until next time, Omar Khan here from Theta Trading. Take care. Talk soon.